Welcome to Mindly Way, where we explore life philosophies to grow and find the right path. Get ready to listen for an inner journey. A skilled samurai. The renowned samurai Miyamoto Musashi and the man, a martial artist, had discovered his veracity on the isolated route of self-control and personal development. Self-control and personal development. The Dokkodo, or strolling by yourself, is an assortment of the 21 tenets he left as a roadmap for leading a fulfilling life and real life. Several of the lessons in the document were taken from Musashi's encounters with fights and duelries. He personally saw the results of rash choices and the lack of self-control, and the significance of maintaining calm under duress. Musashi was a committed learner as well, not just of combat sports but also of poetry, philosophy, and literature. Today, we'll investigate these 21, the fundamentals of the Dokkodo and our options. Apply them to our life. Nobody will accept them. Everything exactly how it is. Life is full of surprises and turns and difficulties. The lessons of Musashi encourage us to accept life's course without attempting to alter or battle against every scenario that you can think of. When you're beside a river, you can't help but present, but you have a choice in how you traverse it. When we genuinely embrace reality as it is, we liberate ourselves from needless tension and annoyance. It's not about taking a backseat. Instead, concerning reacting with objectivity and a serene heart. Imagine a tree that stands tall enough. Imagine a tree that is towering over the changing seasons. Shifting seasons. It is not resistant to the falling leaves or the winds, the leaves falling or the breezes. It just is based on acceptance. Likewise, when we acknowledge things as they are, we able to let go of the conflict in opposition to the inescapable conclusion. Calm in the stream of existence. 2 zeros. Never pursue pleasure in isolation. Frequently, we find ourselves pursuing momentary joys in search of contentment in tangible belongings or fleeting pleasures. However, Musashi suggests that we look beyond transient joys and to accept a greater contentment. Picture yourself enjoying sweets while they could provide a brief joy. Pursuing them purely for enjoyment can cause an imbalance and adverse repercussions. Rather, the idea motivates us to look for worthwhile endeavors and activities that are consistent with our beliefs and contribute to our development. In a society that frequently encourages quick satisfaction, adopting this idea encourages us to develop patience and think about the enduring consequences of our decisions before moving further. Take into account approving our content and joining our. By doing this, you enable us to bring more important information such as this. Many things. Very lot. Let's move forward with 03. Not rely on and under any circumstances. Partial sentiment. Frequently, we experience intense sentiments or transient sensations that could influence our choices. Musashi cautions us against depending only on these transient feelings since they can lead us wrong. Picture a scenario when rage clouds our excitement or judgment cause us to miss possible dangers. Depending only on these distorted emotions can result in decisions we may come to regret subsequently. Rather, the idea motivates us to make decisions in a cool, collected, and a mental equilibrium. In a society that frequently honors impulsivity, adhering to this idea encourages us to develop a more acute awareness. It resembles pulling back from the brink of a cliff to view the greater picture rather than giving way to the strong attraction. As of right now, 04. Think both carefully and carelessly about yourself. The globe. Taking oneself too lightly doesn't imply lowering your sense of value. Instead, it's a request to surrender ego. Motivated ideas. When we let go of the want to continuously declare our significance and make room for sincere ties and significant exchanges. By admitting our flaws and when we accept our vulnerability, we grow more amiable and accessible to others, simultaneously reflecting carefully on requesting that we interact with the complexities of the world around us. It's a request to cultivate a deep understanding of the difficulties and other people's delights. By connecting with the narratives and our understanding of others' feelings deepens our comprehension of the human. Feel this level of compassion enhances and fosters our relationships. Kindness. 5. Keep your full being apart from desire. Lifelong yearning in all of its manifestations frequently keeps us stuck in a loop of craving and discontent. With the Stoic ideology of detachment does not support a life without goals, but rather a life in which our wants don't control our contentment. Visualize a gusty wind of desire, and you, similar as a strong tree in the wind. Tree maintains its flexible roots and unshakable, not brittle, nor uprooted. Think about the situation where you obtain tangible assets in a we're frequently led to a consumer-driven world. Think that obtaining more will offer us happiness, but material belongings can become bonds that bind us to a pattern of desiring more, frequently resulting in dissatisfaction and tension. Detachment from want instructs us on how to understand that contentment does not depend on what we own, nevertheless, on how we approach life. 6. Never do regret your actions. Consider life like a river moving forward steadily, while every choice is a stone that has been laid. As it progresses, repenting of those previous actions would constitute similar to opposing the organic flow of the river. Alternatively, we can decide to comprehend that all decisions, even those that look favorable or unfavorable, has influenced our development in education. The route you've followed, together with its turns and curves, have brought you to the present. Instead, think of a mistake you've made. Instead of wallowing in guilt, consider it as an important lesson, a nugget of knowledge that has deepened your comprehension of both the world and yourself. This change in viewpoint does not absolve. This change in viewpoint does not release one from accountability, but turns it into an potential for development of a seedling may, as a delicate sprout that emerges from the ground. However, it's the battles it encounters, rain and wind, which strengthen it. Robust. 7. Never harbor jealousy. Picture a garden where each blossom is distinct, both its shape and color contributing to the beauty of the garden. In this allegory, you are among those magnificent blossoms, having your own unique attributes that highlight your own brilliance. Then, envy is similar to a cloud that blocks your perception of your own splendor, that makes you long for the characteristics of others. In order to get over envy, one must admit your intrinsic value. Similar to how every flower adds to the garden's splendor, just as you do, personal attributes add to the splendor of humanity's common experience. Accept your individual strengths and attributes. That acknowledge that analogy only takes away the happiness that results from accepting your own path. 8. Never allow yourself to get depressed by. Never let a breakup to bring you down. A breakup, separations caused by distance or circumstances, present a potential for development and rejuvenation. Every goodbye offers the chance for new. Every farewell has the possibility of fresh starts, new beginnings, and new relationships that our lives in unexpected ways. Rather than holding on to the past, we can, allowing us to consider the potentialities of what might be. It's critical to respect the emotions that emerge after we separate ways, recognizing the intensity of our feelings. But the Stoic insight instructs us in refrain from living in a perpetual sadness. Rather, we can apply the knowledge and recollections of our conversations as treasures that enable them to motivate and lead us. If Stoic philosophy appeals to you, here's something customized by Taylor. Don't pass up the opportunity to rethink your financial future. Use the opportunity to buy now the Affluent Stoic ebook. Click the first pin link. Leave a remark to open the door to lasting plenty. 9. Discontent and grievances are. Stubbornness and grievances are acceptable, suitable for oneself as well as others. Think about the garden as an example. Resentment, like an unyielding weed that suffocates the vivid blossoms of comprehension and kindness. In place of building resentment, we have the option to cultivate the forgiveness flowers, and empathy allows us to liberate ourselves, escape the oppressive bonds of bitterness, and permit our heart's garden to, and permit the garden of our hearts to grow in a similar manner, prosper in the same way that grievances, Mars thorns, are interactions that occur when we vent grievances. We induce dissonance, which resonates with us. Partnerships. The Council of Musashi urges us to avoid using such reminder expressions. They don't really do anything for us rather than to promote negativity and discord. 10. Do not let the dictate who you are. Refrain from allowing others to lead you. Imagine feelings of passion or love as victories that can either direct our vessel, accurate or mislead it. Love and passion, while mesmerizing and intensity, can cause us to lose vision as well. Take us into choppy waters to think about them as an enthralling delusion in the distance, enticing us to veer off course while we're listing after anything genuine is like a dimly lit flame that promises speedy warmth, but frequently leaves us scorched and not satisfied. Similar to how a mote is lured to a flame's light, we can also become entangled in it by the temptation of rapid satisfaction. However, Musashi sagely counsels us to defy these cravings because they frequently draw us away from more meaningful, long-lasting relationships. 11. Have no preferences on anything. Think about how our tastes frequently influence our views in the same way as a painter's selection palette might have an impact on their artwork. Our perception is influenced by our inclinations, people's circumstances, and encounters. However, Musashi's guidance inspires us to view the world through the eyes of an youngster hugging every way without referring one to the other. Imagine a visitor making their way through a green country. They do not assess the environments they come across depending on familiarity rather than admiring one another. Distinctive website similar to this principle allows us to traverse open-hearted life free from the importance of aversions or expectations. 12. Regardless of where you reside in this read world, it's simple to let our emotions are shaped by our surroundings. However, Musashi advises us to act like a lighthouse, persevering in the face of storms that could blow across us. Similar to how lighthouses are unaffected by the tumbling waves that we can also discover in a contemplate a tree in the midst of the mayhem. It doesn't stand tall in a forest. Worry about the nearby trees or the shifting weather patterns from which it gets strength, its roots, and extends upwards, not worried by its friends. In a similar vein, this idea suggests that instead, concentrate on our internal foundation as opposed to being impacted by outside conditions. 13. Don't focus on how delicious food tastes. Don't chase the flavor of delicious cuisine. Consider a shared dinner beneath the open sky. The simplest things that nature has to give lacks extravagance and possesses a charm that gourmet meals frequently fall short of. Similar to how a little stone can hold the same value as a gem. Basic foods that are nourishing both the body and the soul without having to extravagant. Picture a landscape in which every plant gets precisely the correct quantity of water and daylight. Too much of either could impede development. Likewise, enjoying the flavor of nice food is necessary, but indulging in luxury can cause the balance to shift. By understanding the nuances of food that brings us contentment. Moderation. 14. Don't cling to items you no longer need. Don't hang on to things that you don't need longer. Requirement. This serves as a prompt to release oneself from possessions that have fulfilled their objective. In the vast fabric of life, we frequently collect things that over time stop possess genuine importance. This idea motivates us to graciously let go of what is no longer enhances our journey. Accept the part about the elegance of letting go with items that have fulfilled their function. This will allow you to make space for what genuinely important. Invite simplicity to your existence and discover the splendor of a travel without a burden. 15. Don't do anything. Act contrary to accepted views. Adhering to traditional ideas. Imagine a bird flying around freely in the sky, determining its path unbound by artificial borders. Similarly, we ought to escape the boundaries of traditional beliefs, permitting our souls to venture into unknown domains of cognition and behavior. The globe is a blank canvas ready for your unique brush strokes that encapsulate the have the guts to question conventional wisdom, daring to question accepted wisdom, to ponder and develop your own philosophy. Allow this trip to be remembered by the bravery to venture into uncharted territory of action and thinking. Keep in mind that it is in the distinctive fabric of your uniqueness that you'll discover a genuine masterpiece. 16. Never gather. Avoid acquiring firearms, weapons, or engage in firearms training outside of what is practical. This idea compels us to approach acquiring new abilities and things with purpose and insight. Picture a craftsman who is meticulously choosing instruments of his craft, selects only those that will further his, adequately serving the goal and avoiding superfluous disarray. Likewise, in our quest for abilities and items that we ought to prioritize obtaining and refining what directly supports, considering a quiver of arrows, our objectives, every one expertly constructed to hit, precisely hits its target. Same to how an archer does not have an abundance of arrows that could not be utilized, instead of gathering more tools or abilities without any real-world use in our daily lives. 17. In a world where death is nothing to fear, have no fear about dying. As time moves on, we tend to retreat from accepting the unavoidable. The advice of Musashi motivates us to face our worst fears and recognize that death is a natural part of existence, a phase of the life cycle. This idea exhorts us to separate us from the clutches of fear and accept life more completely. The words of Musashi echoes the Stoic philosophy, instructing us to concentrate on what we can manage. The dread of dying frequently results from uncertainties regarding the afterlife. Rather, we can focus on the current, on leading a moral life and on making the world a better place by leading a life consistent with our principles. The fear of the unknown can be lessened by us. 18. Don't try to get either goods. Avoid attempting to acquire either commodities or thieves for your senior years by allowing the obsession with obtaining more, and the more we relieve ourselves of the load of consumerism as opposed to appreciating what we start to value the things we own. Experiences we compile, the connections we cultivate, and the expertise we assemble. The pursuit of possessions frequently binds us. Calming down when we let go enables us to start a lighter, more purposeful journey. The advice of Musashi compels us to concentrate on the heart's treasures and thinking about the traits we acquire and the influence we have on other people. Ultimately, these are the heirlooms that actually matter. Let us, as we travel through life, keep in mind his insight. Aim not to accumulate, not for retirement, but to enhance our souls and make an enduring impression on the global. 19. Honor the gods and Buddha. Reverence for the gods and Buddha without relying on their assistance. This is a reminder that looking for outside involvement by itself might not result instead of our intended results. It's our individual choices, behaviors, and endeavors that ultimately dictate our course. While accepting the idea of a bigger require us to maintain our agency or responsibility in a universe where different ideologies coexist. This idea encourages us to develop modesty. Acknowledging the scope of existence outside of our comprehension does not imply that we ignore our spirituality. Rather, it emphasizes how crucial having a well-rounded viewpoint is. Significance of a well-rounded viewpoint. By honoring celestial entities while taking responsibility for our decisions, we balance your faith with your independence. 20. You might forsake your physical self, but you might give up on your own physical needs. This is a time to protect your honor. Concept highlights the lasting worth, even above in terms of reputation and character, actual physical state. A world that frequently emphasizes transient gains, this idea acts as a reminder that one's legacy is their own honor. Personal integrity leaves an enduring legacy that surpasses the fleeting nature of the physical persona. It motivates us to behave morally. Integrity and moral behavior. In any case, integrity and moral behavior of the difficulties we encounter. It's a call to make decisions consistent with our principles, even if the route is challenging. This idea pushes us to give our inner compass more weight than transient benefits or fleeting comforts. How do you feel about these guidelines? How do you see them being integrated? I'd like to invite you into your own adventure. Give your insightful opinions in the comments underneath. Keep in mind the lessons of our present can be illuminated by the past and direct our future.